Hey there guys, it's Joey and this is my experiencing Fehu video, my week with this rune basically. So there's a few things in picture and it'll all come to fruition at the end hopefully, and I will read through my experiences this past week with the rune before I'm pulling the next one. Woo! So this week it's been very much about an emotional response this week. Like in other weeks there has been a lot of symbology, a lot of connecting. There has been that this week, but a lot of this has been on an energy level this week and an emotional level this week. So we will read through. Positive rune. I think I know where the energy starts at least. Cattle raiding, Celtic proving grounds, which is tied up with the Morrigan. So proving yourself in some ways in modern equivalent. I started the bear totem yesterday and it links the two. Harvest, home, prosperity, and also the night sky and the constellation as a minor and major I think it is. And so it's linking of the earth and the sky. Later that day came across a sanctuary, an invisible circle of protection drawn around the body with a hand that reminds you that you are safe and loved even in the darkest times. Made a video about people forcing their energy and trying to force other people into making videos because I do not believe this is the way a community should behave. Let's not read too much of that because I don't want it to be a negative thing. Fairly certain this week's rune Fehu being fire, primal, the Big Bang, and cattle and harvest is tied up with Lu, the sun god. Coming up to Lunarsar, and therefore notions of sacrifice, sun god, and harvest. The cattle raiding is an ancient Celtic way of proving oneself tied into Morrigan law. Lu had to prove his worth in the Battle of Magtared. Also, the Celtic god Taranis, the heavens and thunder god, kept coming up in comparison to in my research. He's linked with the heavens and the thunder god, is a heaven god, a thunder god, and the upcoming supermoon is obviously the thunder moon. Mead is linked in here as to do with marriage and battle and victory celebration. He had a chariot with horses, mecha, and was often very jovial, not unlike Dagda. On the first day of Fehu I heard a name, which I thought was weird as I don't know anybody by that name. I was born clairvoyant, but my sister was clairaudient. I'd never really heard things, not frequently until this. Then the person showed up in my life today looking for spiritual discussion. They have an explorer's spirit, seeking, learning, questioning everything. I think I will learn as much from them as they hope to learn from me. The next day, the supermoon. I had a migraine in the day. Clearly I was meant to have little contact with anyone. I'd already created the Isopus orb as requested and it came out beautifully before the migraine hit. I went to the fields that day but clouds had blocked the moon. Had a feeling it might happen so I actually videoed the moon the day before. But I called on the Morrigan while I was out in the cornfields and the experience was glorious. I gathered some wheat for Lunarsar and crows flew overhead and flew around in amazing spirals. I heard crickets and saw butterflies. The sunset was spectacular and at the last moment there was the shape of an almost skull in the sunset, a winking Morrigan reminder of the sacrifice at Lunarsar to come. I questioned the tarot about people coming into my life because I am naturally wary. The cards refused to tell me any more than I already knew apart from the energy of the person's personality. Someone who rushes in to defend his beliefs, a brave hero. The card was the Knight of Swords, sorry, so that's the interpretation. Blunt, direct, honest to a fault, domineering, a seeker who slices through the skies with his sword. And referencing the owl. Interestingly enough, it was followed by the Sun card. Given I question that the primal energies of this rune might be tied to Lu, this is fascinating. The next day, thunderstorms this morning, finally clearing the air slightly. Primal force of power and beauty, love the magic of storms. Put glass vials out to collect storm water, cleansing, charging. I may start to do a banishing. The thunder rolls in and divides the sky, and the primal fire of lightning cuts a path. I am torn, I bleed, my heart aches, and my tears whelm in my eyes. But though I am scarred, I am not defeated, never defeated. In honour I will continue, and in their betrayal they must live. They are tainted by their own poison, and it will consume them whole. I will step out again into the rain and be purified, and the old will be cast asunder as the lightning brings me home. These are the feelings and recollections I had after the situation with the online gaming community reached a pinnacle of betrayal this week. And I felt some form of relief in some ways that I don't have to deal with such horrible people anymore, but it upset me. All the lying. Next day, weirdly enough, there's a lot of ocean imagery at the moment, particularly with reference to sun on the water. It's all positive, beautiful, deep imagery, an incredibly serene and beautiful mermaid, a woman bursting forth from the sea with her arms to the light. I remembered this Esbat to put shells in the cauldron. Given the primal fire energy of Fehu, I'm assuming this is in fact the balancing of that energy. The humid and overly hot weather gives way to thunderstorms, the lightning cracks open the sky and everything changes. That's how I've always seen thunderstorms. Then there is the rain, the tears that washes the blood away. Yesterday I felt the pain of hurt and betrayal like a knife in the heart, and now it begins to wash away. The pain of losing, of sacrifice, another sacrifice I have made, the death of another group of people I thought to be friends and trustworthy and were not. I have to allow that poison to be washed away from me, wash out the wound and let it heal. Morrigan has a sea connection, of course, through Morgan Le Fay, as well as the sea sprites of Morgans. If you don't know about that, go research about that. I'm not going to go into huge detail here. Healing, female mystery and power, emotional and divinational response. A lot of the experiences this week are all about energy and connecting with looking for answers in divination. Hence the pendulums. They got thunder cleanse this week. And the citrine, obviously, for the they sit with the pendulums anyway to renew their energies, but they're connected to the sun. The uncontrolled sun of summer rages, burning everything in its path, but soon Lunarsar will come, and as it sacrifices through, autumn comes again, my time, my power time. I feel more alive in autumn and dusk than any other time of the year. Decorated for Lunarsar, the intertwined nature of the sun god soul and the moon goddess soul seeking each other, not to be whole because they are whole already, but to join together in the dance of love eternal. My heart is opened. On my walk I smelt the giant pine tree after the rain, and my heart felt like walking on and on into the wild, into nature, without thought of where I was going or where I was. A bird flew over me and scattered me with raindrops. Fehu has brought sun energy, although I've not had any direct interaction or meditation from Lu yet. Possibly this will happen next week. Most of the experiences this week have been a shift in emotional and physical response. That's why the dumbbells are there. I've been very physically active this week. A renewal in my personal power, cutting the poison from another area of my life, and realization of my own needs and desires which I've been ignoring, merely coping, putting up with, feeling agitated and full-blown exhausted and upset. Instead, I need to find what brings the light to me, and the light shines brightly, casting out all illusions. So that was my interactions this week. It's been very much about energy work this week, and feeling responses to things and feeling reactions to things, rather than sort of there have been visualizations and realizations this week, but it's been to do with my own path. My own possible past lives have been flashed in front of me this week, and I'm investigating that through meditation and through discussing things with individuals who are helping me to learn as I'm helping them to learn, and it's a symbiotic thing. It's beautiful right now through a learning environment. It's nice. And then I've had some really low points this week. The gaming community was probably the worst. I've known those people for about some of them for 5 years, and every single one of them just basically betrayed my trust and lied about me. So it's a shame, but in a way I felt relieved that I no longer had to deal with that group of people anymore, and they will poison each other in no time, I'm sure of it. So I've also been getting physically empowered this week, pushing myself to get back on track, to be healthy, to get in shape, get to the point where I'm happy again. And I really have been pushing for that with this energy. So it's been a pretty great week. It's been very, very clearing this week. The thunder rolled in, it blasted open everything that needed to be, and the final sort of things that were causing me problems, and the cleansing rains followed, and I'm doing pretty good. So that's it for this week. I know there's not a lot of Celtic symbology this week, but it definitely has been more about energy work, a lot of which is personal, of course, and you can't really share some of it because it's very personal to your journey. But I'm sharing as much as I can, and I hope there's still some interesting information and some interesting connections there for everybody. So that was my week with Fehu. Many blessings.